Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello, everyone. This is another edition of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast, and I'm Guy with Jewelry Store Marketers, and my lovely co-host Elisa Dillon is not with us today, but we have a returning guest, someone that had a great episode with us last year. We have Kyle Bullock of Bullock's Jewelers here with us. Welcome, Kyle. Thank you for joining us again.
Thanks, Guy. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. Last year, I think sometime July, we released an episode that had a lot of pearls of wisdom and, tips and tricks, and it was really interesting. You told us back then that your stores, you're fourth generation jeweler now?
Yep. Fourth generation, 98 years. Yep.
98 years. Boy, what's going on for the 100-year anniversary over there?
Well, I've got 2 years to figure that out.
Right. Well, with all the stuff that you have going on, don't procrastinate too much. All of a sudden, it's going to be on you, and you're like, oh, shoot.
I know.
But we were really impressed with what you've done with the store and all your insight. You gave us a lot of insight. You gave us a lot of information of how technology helps your business grow and creating personal relationships and with your clients, with your customers. And now you're doing something. You're still doing that. Obviously, you're still the owner of Bullock's Jewelers, but you are doing something different that's helping more jewelers aside from this podcast. But why don't you tell us what's going on now?
Sure. Yeah. So still owning the company. I'm working myself even still out of the job. I may be office there 3 days a week now. I've got an amazing crew running things. But I've known that I'm an entrepreneurial spirit, so I like to extend myself in different directions.
Yeah.
And one of those areas I love to work in is in consulting. I've been doing leadership consulting and management consulting off and on, not always in the jewelry industry, but that's really my formal education and my background is in doing that. So about a year ago, I started working myself out of the business and doing more of that. Recently, I have partnered with Jimmy DeGroot at trainretail.com. We've come up with a brand new platform to complement what he's been doing. It's called trainretailmanagement.com. And from there, we're helping jewelers and small business retail owners train managers and leaders in their store. One of the things I kept hearing over and over was, how do I have a retail business, something I'm running that doesn't run my life? I don't want to work 60, 50 hours a week. I want to have a family. I want to have a life. And I want to be profitable. And so sales training, we love sales training in the world of sales. But there's this thing about management training and leadership training has all these different skill sets that empowers us to have a business that doesn't run our lives and can also still be profitable. You can have both worlds. There's just skills that you need to learn to do that along the way. So we've developed this platform with weekly training sessions, easy and accessible. It's low cost, so that anybody who's got a small retail business looking to really free themselves up, maybe they're looking at retirement and they want to work less and find the new leaders in their company, or they're new to the business and they're new to ownership and they want to find ways to free themselves up. We are practicing what we preach, and we want to share this information that we've learned along the way on a weekly basis with our subscribers.
That's amazing.
So that's what's new these days.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of people are getting to know who Kyle Bullock is. So because you've been featured a few times in different places, you even had another article written in Southern Jewelry News about you earlier last month. No. At some point, you had several features about you, but Jimmy DeGroot, a lot of people know who Jimmy is with his sales training, and so that sounds really good. That sounds really amazing. It's something that I'm sure a lot of jewelers could use. How many? Because I know sometimes you get out and talk to jewelers, shake some hands and see some people sometimes. But how many jewelers realize they need help? Or how many jewelers, and on
That's a
the
good
opposite,
question.
sometimes they think they're good. Oh, we've been in business for a while, and we know, we kind of know what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like in some cases that could be a limiting belief, or a little closed-minded to say I'm good, And do you see that a lot? Do you hear that a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From the beginning of doing leadership training and management training, one of the hardest things to talk about or to sell the training that we do is people think, well, I can read a book, or I can listen to a podcast, and I'm good. It's almost that we think that leadership is this thing that I absorb through osmosis. I learn along the way, and so I'll get it as I go.
Right.
Really, the reality in the research over the last couple of decades in particular says no, great leadership is something that you learn. There's skill sets involved.
Right.
It's understanding how people operate, how we communicate. There's actual disciplines that you can follow. And so for me, leadership has always been something when training that it should be very pragmatic, very practical and accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I don't hear people coming to me saying, I really want to work on my leadership.
Right.
That's really what I want to work on. Even I don't do that, and I need to continually do that.
Yeah.
But what I usually hear is people come to me going, man, I can't find good help. It's driving me crazy, and I can't keep good help. I'm working like crazy, and I'm exhausted, and I don't have time for my family. Right? I'm barely keeping the business together. How can I afford to hire new people when I'm trying to keep it together now? Right? These all have solutions to them that can all be answered through proper leadership and management skills.
Right.
So usually that's the end point. And once you give someone a taste of how they can create their own solutions to their problems, then they start to understand, well, if I keep training in this area, if I keep sharpening my skills in this area, what else can I accomplish? Right? And that's, I think, hopefully the gateway to letting people know that when you start working on leadership and management skills that are real tangible, real practical skills, it's sort of this exponential investment where the sky is the limit on what you can accomplish, right? But it usually starts with a singular problem we're trying to fix.
Right. So when there is great leadership in an organization, what's typically the result of that? Throughout the organization, bigger, higher sales, long-term employees. What do you typically see in terms of, great leadership equal to what?
Well, that's a big question. So let's I'm going to unpack a little bit of that first.
Sure.
Let's talk about those words. What's good leadership?
Right.
We talk about this in a course that we have online. It's actually free for anybody who wants to go check it out on trainretailmanagement.com.
That's great.
We have 3 courses that are free for people to start learning this stuff. In one of those courses, we talk about leadership. I say leadership, this is an old John Maxwell quote, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, right? Now you can have good influence, you can have bad influence.
Right.
You can exert yourself onto people and drive them, and that's influence. It's just not great.
Right. Yeah.
In the course, I say good leadership, what makes for good leadership is when we're outward focused. What makes for bad leadership is when we're inward focused, when I'm thinking about what can I accomplish for me? What's in this for me? How do I make more money? How do I get more time off? How do I improve my quality of living? So it's all about me. And who wants to be around someone who's only thinking about themselves?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So good leadership is outward focused, thinking about how can I make my people great?
Right.
How can I take that person who's a good salesman and train them to be a great salesman? How do I help my bookkeeper go from being pretty good to being superb, phenomenal, the best there's ever been, and I want to work with them forever, right?
Yeah.
So good leaders are always thinking about others. And I think that's where the answer to your question comes. What's the result of good leadership?
Right.
Well, imagine a workplace where people actually want to achieve, where they feel empowered,
Exactly.
where they're excited to take on big projects. So yeah, you're going to have profit, And yeah, you're going to have growth, but you're going to also have people around you who are excited about that. And ultimately, you get to decide, how much do I really want to grow? When do I want to stop growing? What do I get out of the growth that we achieve, right? These are deeper questions that we can answer through leadership and empower people to do amazing things, innovative things, right?
Right.
But it starts with thinking outwardly.
Right. Well, that's pretty powerful. So you guys teamed up and created this platform, and now you have the 3 courses that you're giving away for free. People can check it out, and that's pretty amazing. I hope more people are checking it out. I mean, who doesn't love free resources? And I guess I think the great thing about what you guys are doing is there are a lot of resources, a lot of free, there's podcasts and books and a lot of YouTube out there and so forth. But you guys, are in the jewelry business, know about the specific challenges about jewelry and working with, customers buying luxury jewelry. Are the courses or videos tailored to jewelry, or can they be usable for someone else?
Sure. No, yeah, absolutely. That's the benefit of the platform. Sure, you can learn a lot of things on your own. We wanted to really tailor this program specifically for small retail business,
right,
and largely for the jewelry industry. We're going to take the lessons that you can learn, the general lessons, and boil them down and make them specifically for that small town jeweler, right? The person who's making themselves up by the bootstraps, has a team of a few people maybe, right? How do you take big ideas that corporations are using, big corporate America is using, and boil it down into something practical for everyday mom and pop, sole proprietors, etc. Right. That's our focus. And so these lessons are custom fit to what's going on in our industries right now, and specifically for small retail business owners, most of them jewelers.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Now, you said the courses and videos are on leadership and management. Are there some tactile things? I don't know, how to deal with employees. I don't know, certain specific things. What else can people expect from it's weekly videos? Is that what happens?
Yep. Wow. Every week we have new videos every week, new resources and downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When I do lectures or when I go into stores or into companies, I don't like to talk for long. I like to get people moving. Yeah. So I take that philosophy to the platform. Mm-hmm. In our free classes, one of those philosophies we talk about is creating recipes, and they invite business owners to write their own cookbook for their business. If you could write a cookbook, this is how to cook up what I'm doing in my business, and give it to somebody and say, this is how you run my business. Right? That's the philosophy. So many of the videos we do invite and train retail owners on how to write their own version of whatever it is we're talking, whether it's opening and closing procedures, HR. It could be, maybe we're going to talk about how do you handle employee problems, right? And creating that. It also gets down, every once in a while, I like to just throw a curveball. There's one class that's coming up very soon that's all about making people go for a walk while we're doing the class. It's unconventional, but it gets people in a new frame of mind that we hope brings them new ideas.
Right.
And my job is not to tell people what to do. It's to help show them how to create a program for their own store that helps them fulfill the dream of their business that they've had from day one.
Right.
It's to coach them, which is pushing them towards success. That's what I hope that these videos mean for folks. And for anybody who wants something even more tailor-made, we do offer one-on-one counseling with anybody who wants to get into the nitty-gritty of their specific business with us and tailor it down even further.
Right. Wow, that's really that's awesome. When did you guys when did this get started? We spoke to you about a
Oh yeah.
year ago, and so in this last year, you got this thing going.
The platform just rolled out, brand spanking new. I think as of this month.
Oh wow!
We just released it. Been working on it for several months now, and been doing more and more speaking and lectures inside the jewelry industry, really for the last 6 months. So this has been a culmination of all those things happening, and it feels like a very fitting platform, an accessible platform. And again, we try to make this as low cost as we can, because our goal with this is really to empower jewelers. We're seeing in the jewelry business in particular, and I think we're seeing this across retail. We're seeing so many small stores, small businesses disappear. And part of the reason for them disappearing is there's no one there behind one generation to pick up the business and keep it going. And a lot of people are coming to us going, how do we even find leaders? How do we find people? And so if you can't find them readily available, maybe we just need to grow them up and train them and give them the tools to succeed. And when you can give someone the tools to succeed, boy, it's exciting to see what they can come up with.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, the culmination of a lot of months towards that direction. I hope this platform kind of fulfills all of that and then some,
Fantastic. I do my fair share of, I guess, learning on my own, books, articles, podcasts, YouTube videos, whatever, right? But the thing that I look for in many of the learning is somebody to talk about it. Is there a component or a channel, avenue that your students, people involved, can also kind of talk amongst each other? Like, hey, what'd you think about that last one? Is there something along those lines, something in like that?
Yeah, with the platform is so new, we haven't yet rolled anything out like that. It's definitely been in our talks as we get things going. The more you can network with people, the better it is. So right now I've got open lines with anybody who's a subscriber can reach out to me directly or Jimmy directly and ask us questions, and we can plug them in. And hopefully down the road, whether it's in person, virtual, or on the platform, we want to try to create spaces for people who are on their leadership journey, whatever they're doing, to meet with one another, grow with one another. I mean, that's half the success we experience in life is when you have more than half is when you have great people by your side.
Absolutely.
Right? So hopefully we can roll some of that out as this gets going.
Fantastic. You said you mentioned there's weekly trainings and a low cost. So what is the cost of the program?
$200 a month gets you weekly videos, gets you downloads. Perfect. It gets you all of the guides and recipe makers, as we call them.
Wow.
And it gets you access to message us with your questions on a weekly basis if you have anything going on.
That's really amazing, because you don't always have time to go out to the shows and get to the seminars or do those things. And maybe as a business owner, you go to the show and you go to the learn, and then you try to take that information back to your team, and it doesn't always translate perfectly. I think they said something like this and that, and it was really cool. We should try to check it out. But this is a great way to bring the training right to your team, from people in the industry that know how to grow a business, run a business, sell, and then you get weekly trainings, as well as access to people that you guys to ask and interact. And sometimes that the next show is just not soon enough.
Right.
You go, I got a few months before I head out to St. Louis or to Vegas or somewhere, and but all these things that come up in your business daily.
Well, and it's not just the money commitment too, which on that side of things, you can easily spend $10,000 a year with a one-on-one consultant.
Absolutely.
And there's so many small businesses that just can't afford to shell out 10 grand for something
Sure.
like that. We want to create that access. It's also on the side of time. Time is money, right?
Absolutely.
And so many small businesses, especially as you're starting your journey in automating your business
Right.
or delegating or leading, you just don't have time.
Yeah.
And so these lessons, the videos themselves run typically about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you dedicated 30 minutes a week for the video and then the follow-up, that's sort of the time commitment we ask. With 30 minutes a week, we're going to try to help get you more time, more freedom, more energy, and then you can bring more members of your team in on certain videos,
Sure.
have them learn, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just the money commitment. We also try to make this accessible for anybody who's trying to run a business, and it's exhausting.
Sure, absolutely, it sure is. And I mean, the money commitment really it's not big at all. I mean, a couple $100. Some people spend that on coffee runs to Starbucks every day, right?
That's true.
Yeah. And this is where and so the trainings are on demand. Is that correct?
Right. When you subscribe, you get every video we've done in the past, and then the new ones.
Right. So as they come out, you get notification that there's new videos, but then you could also go back to the ones that maybe you found some value in, and then you want to show your team you need to watch this. So that's pretty awesome. A couple $100 is nothing. It really could help you not fumble around, not trying to let me try this, let me try that, hear what's working, hear from people in the industry, and you could just go, and then you have your recipes and all the other downloads and other things that you have available, and then you can also ask questions. That's great. So really that's very valuable. A lot of jewelers really need to know about this. Is there I hope like even Southern Jewelry News, I hope they put a press release out on your new platform. The
excitement is seeing people engage with it, and once you get the idea, right? That's why those lessons are available for anyone listening. We've got those 3 lessons available. They're free, and they give you a taste of what we do. But I really hope they give you a taste of how you can use this to your advantage. I like to give people good nuggets. So here's a good nugget for any listener. The very first lesson after the orientation. So this is, you got to pay money for this. So I'll give you something free here, everybody. It's all about creating a unique appeal for your business. And you can go to marketing classes and seminars, etc., and they tell you how you have your own brand and and all the buzzwords that you hear, social media, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
What if you could cut through all of that and at the same time engage with your customers? And we have a very, very easy, straightforward exercise that the truth that I was taught this lesson, and I think that if you go through it, it will pay for itself. It'll pay for the training for the whole year,
right?
Because it asks you to go to your customers with very specific questions and ask them what makes you so different, and then you use those responses to boil it down, create your appeal, and then use that appeal to apply in marketing and in sales, and understand what you shouldn't get yourself involved in. Just because you're a retail business doesn't mean you have to have a billboard. It doesn't mean you have to have a newspaper.
Right.
And you can use the words of your own customers to sell your business in the way that they speak, in the way they understand. And when you do that, it really frees you up, not just the things you can do and who you are, but it frees you up to the things you don't want to be and the things that customers don't care about you. And maybe even for me, when I first did it, realized there were some product lines that I carried that my customers didn't care less about. They never mentioned.
Right.
So when we got rid of them, it freed us up of one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
And it actually made us more profitable. So that first lesson right there, I hope just pays for it the whole year's training if you do it to its completion. I really do.
Wow, that's great. So speaking about listening to your customers, what kind of feedback have you gotten so far from your courses, from the people that are subscribing?
Oh gosh, we just got started, and I got an
it.
email. I don't
Yeah.
have it up in front of me,
Yeah.
but from somebody who just goes, "This is what I've been looking
There you
for
go.
for a very long time.
Right.
Something I can access, something that gives me tools. It shows me that I can do this, and I can empower other people to do this." Because she goes, I think for her it was a matter of I want to go see my kids' little league games, and I don't want to have to lose money to close a store to go do that. Well, this might help me get the tools so that I don't have to do that. I can empower somebody. I can give them the recipe to my business. I can go see that little league game, not miss time with my kids, and still have a growing business. That's all possible, right?
Yeah.
And so those kinds of responses make me the happiest.
Of course. That's great. And I know, just rolling it out, there's going to be a lot more stories like that that come up and say thank you, because you guys are really providing something valuable. So that's really awesome. So well, amazing stuff, and certainly look forward to seeing how it develops and how you guys and the feedback. And of course we know it's going to be successful, because you guys, both of you guys, are pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you.
But you know what, Kyle, you're awesome, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that I'm shaking their heads. Yeah, he sure is. So we're really rooting for you. I'm glad we got you here. Hopefully this gets somebody more exposure and to find your website. Tell us again where they find it and what do you have to offer.
Sure. So $200 a month gets you weekly training, gets you access to message us with questions for your business. It gets you downloads that help you write the guides for your business to automate it and free your life up. Develop yourself as a leader and develop managers and leaders in your business. TrainRetailManagement.com. TrainRetailManagement.com. You can start and stop anytime you want. There's no contract. There's no commitment. If you just don't have the capacity and time for it for a while, we understand. We just want to make this accessible to business owners in the retail world to grow their small business, to show them that they can compete with the big dogs in the room and best them most of the time.
There you go.
And still have a life to boot, right?
Yeah.
So TrainRetailManagement.com.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Everybody listening, make sure you give them some love wherever you can give them love. And definitely check out the website and check out those free courses. They're giving some free value right there on the website. So we certainly wish you luck, Kyle and Jimmy.
Thank you.
I'll be telling everybody I know, I said, I'm struggling with this, and I got to check Kyle out and check Jimmy and Kyle out, because they got this amazing training, that you can improve your leadership and management, and really for an amazing cost. So Kyle, thank you so much for sharing this, creating it, because a lot of people need it, but thanks for sharing here. And boy, we got to catch up again in the future. I'd love to hear how it's going, and
Sure.
But appreciate you coming on and talking about it.
Thank you, Guy. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely, Kyle. And so give some love. Everyone, check out Southern Jewelry and Mid-America Jewelry News on the website. Make sure you get the paper. I think there's a newsletter sign up in there somewhere. My company's Jewelry Store Marketers, and this has been another episode of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. Thank you. See you in the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.